Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news tonight where we get you the day's top stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. India and Pakistan become full members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Prime Minister Narendra Modi preaches for coordinated efforts to combat menace of terrorism. Curfew relaxed in Madhya Pradesh's Mandsaur district as situation improves in areas hit by farmer protests. 156 people are arrested for the violent incidents during the farmers' agitation in the state. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee terms the strike called by Gorkha Janmukti Morcha illegal. Normal life comes to a halt in the hills as the army stages flag marches in Darjeeling, Kurseong and Kalimpong. And British Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservative Party loses a majority in the general election. Verdict throws up a hung parliament for Britain with significant gains for the opposition Labour Party. All that in a bit, but first, India and Pakistan became full members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization at the Astana summit on Friday. Speaking at the summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India may have got the membership now, but India's relations with the group are long-standing. He also asserted that connectivity among SCO nations remains the top priority for India.
हमारी सदस्यता के समर्थन के लिए मैं SCO के सभी देशों का हार्दिक आभार प्रकट करता हूं.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanking all the members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization for their support after India became a member on Friday. In his address at the annual summit, Modi pitched for coordinated efforts among SCO members to combat terrorism. He hoped that India's entry into the bloc will give a new momentum to the group in dealing with terrorism.
आतंकवाद तथा अतिवाद के खिलाफ संघर्ष SCO के सहयोग का अहम भाग है. मुद्दा चाहे रेडिकलाइजेशन का हो, टेररिस्ट की रिक्रूटमेंट का, उनकी ट्रेनिंग का अथवा फाइनेंसिंग का, जब तक हम सभी देश मिलकर इस दिशा में कोऑर्डिनेटेड तथा सशक्त एफर्ट्स नहीं करेंगे, तब तक इन समस्याओं का समाधान असंभव है.
Modi spoke on the need to enhance connectivity in the region and said it was the key to boost trade and investment. He also called for efforts by the SCO to tackle climate change.
हम चाहते हैं कि कनेक्टिविटी हमारे देशों की भावी पीढ़ियों तथा समाजों के बीच सहयोग तथा विश्वास का मार्ग प्रशस्त करे. ये कनेक्टिविटी इनिशिएटिव्स अथवा परियोजनाओं की सफलता एवं स्वीकृति के लिए संप्रभुता तथा क्षेत्रीय अखंडता का आदर जरूरी तथा इनकी इंक्लूसिविटी तथा सस्टेनेबिलिटी आवश्यक है.
Earlier, Modi met Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines. They discussed bilateral matters and geopolitical developments in the region. This was the first meeting between the two after India stayed away from the One Belt, One Road Forum in Beijing last month.
Time of global uncertainty, India-China relations are a factor of stability. And as the world becomes more multipolar, it was important for India and China to work together more closely. I think there was also an understanding that where we have differences, it was important that differences should not become disputes.
Modi also met Uzbek President Shavkat Mirziyoyev on the sidelines of the SCO. The Prime Minister arrived in the Kazakh capital on Thursday for the two-day summit. Pakistan also joined the SCO as a member on Friday. India's membership was strongly pushed by Russia, while Pakistan's entry was backed by China. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, farmers across the country threatened to intensify their stir if demands, including farm loan waivers, were not addressed by the government. Meanwhile, the situation in parts of MP's Mandsaur district remained tense, but under control, with no report of fresh incidents of unrest.
One more farmer died in Badawan village of violence hit Mandsaur district, the epicenter of the farmers' protest in Madhya Pradesh. With this death, the toll is up to 6. While the police say that the circumstances of the death are unclear, locals claim that he was thrashed by policemen on Thursday evening.
लागत बढ़ रही है, लागत दिन पे दिन महंगाई हो रही है, पैकिंग सामान का तो सरकार भाव फिक्स कर रही है, पर किसान का कोई भाव नहीं है, किसान गड्ढे में जाता ही जा रहा है।
इनके बारे में सर अभी तो कुछ किसानों के लिए तो कुछ क्या पहुंच ही नहीं पाए ना सर, अभी तक तो कुछ नहीं पहुंच पाए किसानों के पास तो कि सर कुछ नहीं है ना सर। अभी क्या है, आप मुआवजा माफ करने की बोला था कि बीमा ये करेंगे माफ कर देंगे, अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ।
सर गाँव में रह जाती है, किसान को कोई जानकारी नहीं मिलती सर, यहाँ तक आती नहीं, गाँव में शहर में ही रह जाती। ये स्कीम्स का पता नहीं लगता सर, नहीं चलता।
हमने कितनी योजना चला रखी है, वो गांव तक अभी तक कोई योजना ना तो कोई बताते ना हमको मालूम है क्या है क्या नहीं है क्या। और सोयाबीन की जैसे फसलों का हमको उचित मूल्य भाव नहीं मिल रहा है।
As the situation in Mandsaur remained tense but under control, curfew was relaxed for the day on Friday in Mandsaur city and Piplia Mandi. However, violence and unrest was reported from neighbouring areas of Shahjahanpur, Dhar and Chhindwara districts. 56 people have been arrested and 102 detained so far in connection with the agitation.
Amidst the allegations and counter-allegations clamor of politicians, the life in Mandsaur is gradually coming back to the normalcy. But the farmer leaders who has been spearheading this whole agitation are saying that the amelioration of the pecuniary condition of the debt-ridden farmer is still a distant reality.
Taking a cue from the farmers in MP, their counterparts in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu have also swung into action. Farmers' bodies in UP have warned that resentment among them may snowball into protests if simmering issues were not addressed. Expressing solidarity with the farmers of Mandsaur, UP farmers have threatened to cut off supply of daily essentials to cities from Sunday if their demand for a CBI probe into the police firing in Mandsaur is not met. Farmers in Tamil Nadu launched an indefinite protest in Chennai pressing for their demands including comprehensive drought relief. The protesters led by P. Ayakkannu, who had spearheaded a 40-day stir in New Delhi in April, urged the government to look into demands of loan waiver, drought relief package and setting up of the Kaveri Management Board.
Please keep your promise. Withdraw the case from the Supreme Court and give the pension to the farmers, those who are above 60 years. Even they have the son, even they have the daughter, even they have the patta lands. Because beggar is better than the farmer. Because we have no income at all. So we are demanding the central government give profitable price to the farmers. Till that we ask them the right of loans.
The farmers' agitation in the country worsened this week after 5 farmers in MP's Mandsaur were killed in police firing during protests demanding farm loan waiver. Farmers in Madhya Pradesh have been protesting since June 1st, demanding higher minimum support prices for their produce, including onions, arhar and moong dal. Farmers in Maharashtra too have resolved to amplify their protests across Maharashtra if their demands are not accepted by the state government by June 11th. Ravindra Sharon's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
And speaking of protests, the hilly areas of North Bengal remain shut today over a strike call given by the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha. While the West Bengal government termed the strike illegal, State Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee remains stranded in Darjeeling along with many ministers and state officials. The army was also called out in many parts of Darjeeling and adjacent areas to maintain law and order.
A day after the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha volunteers triggered violence in the towns, Darjeeling, Kalimpong and Kurseong observed a general shutdown on Friday. The roads were deserted as vehicles stopped plying. The state government requisitioned army presence in the areas near the border with Nepal and Bhutan. Tourists remained stranded at the Bagdogra airport. The airport authority said adequate arrangements were made for the passengers. The Trinamool Congress also erected a help desk at the airport.
हमने तो होटल में थे तो साइड में बसें चला रही थी, ऊपर से धुएं दिख रहे थे, फिर आंसू वाले बम फेंक रहे थे। तो इतना तो नहीं पता चला, बस यही पता चला कि गोरखा लैंड की शायद मांग कर रहे थे वो लोग और ममता बनर्जी आई थी तो उसके खिलाफ प्रोटेस्ट था।
तो आप लोग कब वहाँ से निकल के कैसे भागे वहाँ?
हम रात को ही सुबह 2 बजे ही हमने
टैक्सी करी, यहाँ पे आए, फिर यहाँ पे सुबह से उतरे।
आज के लिए जो हम लोगों ने किया कि नॉर्मली जो एयरपोर्ट 9 या 10 बजे तक ऑपरेशनल होता है, वो हम लोगों ने पैसेंजर की सुविधा को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमने आज एयरपोर्ट को 5 बजे से ही सभी जो सुविधाएं हैं सबको उपलब्ध करा दी थी। जैसे कि पैसेंजर यहाँ पहला तो आराम से एंटर करके यहाँ पे वेट कर सकते हैं, जो रेस्टोरेंट की सुविधा होती है, और जो हमारे हाउसकीपिंग स्टाफ हैं, जो सिक्योरिटी है, और जो हमारा मे आई हेल्प यू काउंटर है, जो कि किसी को कोई इंक्वायरी करनी है, वो सब फैसिलिटी मॉर्निंग में 5 बजे से उपलब्ध थी।
हम लोग यहाँ पे जो पहाड़ में जो टूरिस्ट लोग आके यहाँ पे जो तकलीफ में है ना आंदोलन के लिए, उन लोग का सहायता के लिए हम लोग यहाँ पे आज टेंट बैठाया हुआ। हम लोग का बंगाल का मुख्यमंत्री ममता बनर्जी का आदेश से हम लोग यहाँ पे बैठा है।
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is also stranded in Darjeeling. She has been in the city for the last 3 days for a cabinet meeting and overseeing development works in the hilly areas. Gautam Dev, the tourism minister of West Bengal, blamed Gorkha Janmukti Morcha and Gorkha Territorial Authority Chief Bimal Gurung for the situation.
নির্বাচনে তারা দাঁড়াতেও সাহস পান না, যেখানে মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় প্রশাসনিক প্রধান, তিনি পাহাড়কে একটা নতুন ডাইমেনশন দিচ্ছেন, নতুনভাবে পাহাড়কে সাজিয়ে তুলছেন। সেই সময় জনবিচ্ছিন্নতায় ভুগে বিমল গুরুং অ্যান্ড কোম্পানি তারা যে হিংসাত্মক ঘটনা করেছে, এটা শুধু নিন্দনীয় নয়, এটা কোনো রাজনীতিই নয়, এটা হুলিগানিজম।
The Gorkha Territorial Authority blamed Mamata for trying to impose her will on the hilly areas. They are also protesting against the imposition of Bengali as the second language in the hills, although the Chief Minister later said it would be optional.
हम उसको अलाउ किया, आप अंग्रेजी पढ़ो, हिंदी पढ़ो, नेपाली पढ़ो, जो मर्जी पढ़ो, लेकिन 10th क्लास तक वो आपको CBSE में भी नहीं देना पड़ेगा, आपको ICSE में बोर्ड का परीक्षा नहीं देना पड़ेगा, लेकिन 10th क्लास तक कम से कम एक लैंग्वेज का ऑप्शन रखो, इसी के लिए जैसे आपको नौकरी का फायदा मिले। और दिस इज ऑप्शनल, दिस इज नॉट कंपल्सरी, दिस इज ऑप्शनल।
और अभी जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है, रूलिंग जो पार्टी है, ये लोग भी चाहते हैं कि हिल का जो पॉलिटिकल पावर इन लोग का हाथ में आए, ताकि वो हिल का अपने तरीक़ा से चला सके। लेकिन हिल का जो पीपल है, ये लोग नहीं चाहते हैं। ये लोग चाहते हैं कि हिल का जो सिचुएशन, हिल का जो आदमी का जो सेंटिमेंट, ये हिल्स का जो है वो लोग अच्छी तरह सोच पाएंगे, इन लोग के लिए थोड़ा कुछ कर पाएंगे वहाँ का सिचुएशन के लिए। इसमें ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अराइज हो रहा है और इसीलिए ये टेंशन भी तैयार हो रहा है।
The problems in the hills have been festering ever since Mamata Banerjee won the Mirik constituency in a recent by-poll. The area is a BJP stronghold represented by its MP SS Ahluwalia.
Everyone knows that this is the time when most of the tourists visit Darjeeling, North Bengal and even Sikkim, because this is the route of all these areas where people come in summer. And this is the time when common people gets benefited in this area. But people are telling that due to clash of ego between Mamata Banerjee and Bimal Gurung, the whole of hilly areas are now empty and people are coming up there. People are at a loss. Who will pay for this loss is a big question. Akhilesh Soman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sudhanshu in Siliguri.
The Supreme Court on Friday stayed the government's order to make Aadhaar card mandatory for PAN card holders and for filing of income tax returns. The apex court, however, added that those who have Aadhaar must provide its details while filing ITR. It also said that PAN card without an Aadhaar number will not be treated invalid. On privacy issues, the Supreme Court asked the government to take appropriate steps to prevent leakage of personal details from the Aadhaar scheme. The court was hearing a batch of petitions challenging the constitutional validity of a provision in the IT Act making Aadhaar mandatory for filing ITR and allotment of PAN. Political parties, including the Congress, welcomed the order.
The Supreme Court has upheld the validity of the law. That's the first step, saying that Parliament has power to make this law. There is nothing wrong with this law. That's the first step. Second, the court has said that everybody who is an income tax payee and who has an Aadhaar card must necessarily, compulsorily link his card with PAN and give the details thereof.
I don't use the word setback. I think this is just the court cooperating and collaborating with Parliament to find an appropriate scheme of things. And the court has certainly, I think, gone quite a distance in supporting what the Parliament has done.
The Press Club of India today organized a meet to protest against the CBI raids on NDTV and the attack on freedom of press. Veteran journalists like Arun Shourie and Kuldeep Nair joined eminent jurists like Fali Nariman in criticizing the government's actions. Defending freedom of speech, Fali Nariman said that freedom after speech is what freedom of speech is all about. He said that while no one was immune from being prosecuted under a criminal offence, the manner in which the government had proceeded on the matter made it seem that it was an unjustified attack on press and media freedom. Arun Shourie, former minister in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee-led NDA government, said that the government has made NDTV an example of overt pressure. He feared that the coercive action will intensify in the coming months. NDTV founder Pranoy Roy, veteran journalist Kuldeep Nair and Arun Puri also spoke on the occasion.
That is, the raids and the FIR filed by the CBI are definitely an unjustified attack on press and media freedom.
They will try to divide the press by insinuating such things, and they will use you. They will use the existing media to defame the rest of the media.
And here's a look at what else made news across the country today in Nationwide. Two former Bihar Chief Ministers Lalu Yadav and Jagannath Mishra appeared in a fodder scam case before a special CBI court in Ranchi on Friday. The case relates to withdrawal of 97 lakh rupees illegally from the Deoghar treasury. The trial was reopened after an order by the Supreme Court. Congress leader Baba Siddiqui appeared before the Enforcement Directorate in connection with a money laundering case. It relates to alleged irregularities in a 400 crore rupee slum rehabilitation project in Bandra. Earlier, the probe agency raided several premises of Siddiqui on the 31st of March. Normal life was disrupted on Friday in many parts of Kashmir in view of the strike called by separatists. This comes in the wake of raids by the NIA in the valley and the killing of a civilian during a search operation in Shopian district. Security forces have been deployed across the valley to maintain law and order. The CBSE on Friday moved the Supreme Court challenging the Madras High Court order on NEET 2017 results. The CBSE made an urgent mention before the top court to lift the stay on the declaration of the results. The court will hear the matter on the 12th of June. Madras High Court had granted an interim stay alleging that a uniform question paper was not being given during the examination. A quick break here. Up next, the top international stories.
You must be knowing of DNA fingerprinting. That technology in India was started by our former director, Dr. Lalji Singh. Large number of initiatives are being done in this institute. We are also very active now in commercializing our product. Putting a lot of money doesn't mean you will discover a drug. So sometimes small discoveries lead to good drugs. So we need to keep the chair hot. But yes, we need to continuously try.
Watch Eureka with Professor Amitabh Chattopadhyay, J.C. Bose Fellow, CSIR CCMB, only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. Let's get to international news. And of course, the top focus has been Britain today. British Prime Minister Theresa May met the Queen a short while back, seeking her permission to form a government. May has already announced her intention to form a new government that will lead Britain to Brexit talks with the European Union. May, of course, had called these snap elections to try and strengthen her mandate ahead of the Brexit talks. But in a sensational night, a resurgent Labour Party denied her an outright win, throwing the country into political turmoil as no clear winner emerged.
At this time, more than anything else, this country needs a period of stability. And if, as the indications have shown, and if this is correct, that the Conservative Party has won the most seats and probably the most votes, then it will be incumbent on us to ensure that we have that period of stability, and that is exactly what we will do.
British Prime Minister Theresa May is attempting to stay in office despite a shocking result in the snap election. The polls could define her prime ministership as being the worst in history. Labour Party's Jeremy Corbyn has urged May to quit, saying Labour is ready to serve.
She fought the election on the basis that it was her campaign, it was her decision to call the election, it was her name out there, and she was saying she was doing it to bring about strong and stable government. Well, this morning it doesn't look like a strong government, it doesn't look like a stable government, it doesn't look like a government that has any programme whatsoever.
The Tories are 8 seats short of the 326 needed to command a majority, down 12 seats. The Labour Party, led by Jeremy Corbyn, on the other hand, has won 261 seats, a gain of 29. May needs the stability she talks about, with the start of Brexit negotiations just 10 days away. For now, the Democratic Unionist Party, which has won 10 seats, has decided to back her minority administration. The two parties are expected to go for a confidence and supply partnership, which essentially means an informal arrangement that could see DUP lending support on a vote-by-vote basis. Labour Party has said it is ready to form a minority government, but even if it is joined by the SNP, Lib Dems, Green Party and Plaid Cymru, it gives them just 313 seats, 13 short of the magic figure.
This is a disaster for Theresa May. She called an election clearly very arrogantly thinking that she was going to crush the opposition, sweep everybody aside and cruise to a landslide majority. Her position, I think, is very, very difficult. Now, we have to wait and see how things shake out. But, I've always said the SNP would want to be part of a progressive alternative to a Tory government.
What all parties need to remember now is that Brexit negotiations are just 10 days away.
The government in office in 11 days' time will have to conduct those Brexit negotiations. Our position is very clear. We want a jobs-first Brexit. Therefore, the most important thing is the trade deal with Europe, and I would have thought perhaps a good gesture from Parliament would be to vote now to agree that all EU nationals can remain in Britain.
The European Council's President Donald Tusk has warned that London faces a firm deadline to complete talks, and any delays in starting them raise the risk of no deal. EU officials say time is tight to negotiate the divorce. They are also concerned at May's threats to prefer no deal to a bad deal. Such an outcome would be damaging to both sides. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Qatar dismissed a list released by Saudi Arabia and its allies that designated dozens of people and entities with alleged links to Qatar as terrorists. Reacting to the list that names 59 people for terror links, Qatar said in a recent joint statement issued by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Egypt and the UAE regarding a terror finance watch list once again reinforces baseless allegations that hold no foundation in fact, adding that Qatar does not support terrorist groups, and the statement further said that its position on countering terrorism is stronger than many of the signatories of the joint statement, a fact that has been conveniently ignored by the authors. The list now includes names of Muslim Brotherhood, spiritual leader Yusuf Ali Karawadi, and 12 Qatari entities. Among the Qataris named are prominent businessmen, politicians, and senior members of the ruling family. Meanwhile, Turkey approved a law to deploy Turkish troops in Qatar, signaling support for the Gulf country after several countries cut diplomatic ties over its alleged support for terrorism earlier this week.
Katar'ın ortaya koyduğu soğukkanlı ve Körfez İşbirliği Konseyi üyelerinin
And here are more international news updates in Global Buzz. At least 31 people were killed and several others injured in a bomb blast in Baghdad's Mosayyab town. The attack took place in the market area where a female suicide bomber blew herself up. The ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack. At least 22 civilians were killed and dozens injured in a Saudi-led airstrike in western Yemen. Missiles launched by the fighter jets of the Arab Alliance hit a crowded marketplace where the casualties were reported. Japan's parliament passed a law to allow Emperor Akihito's crown prince Naruhito to ascend the throne. The upper parliament passed the bill 235 in favor Details of Emperor Akihito's abdication are yet to be released, but it is likely to take place in 2018. Aged 83, Emperor Akihito has previously gone through heart surgery and treatment for prostate cancer. The Islamic State claimed that the 2 Chinese nationals abducted from Quetta last month have been killed. This comes after Pakistan released details of a 3-day operation in the Mastung area of Balochistan targeting IS facilitators, in which 12 militants were killed. The Chinese nationals were kidnapped on the 24th of May. South Korea will continue to work with Washington on the deployment of the US anti-missile system THAAD. Seoul said that the decision to postpone the full deployment of the THAAD system was a domestic measure to ensure a democratic process, further adding that the THAAD system is aimed at defending the growing threat of North Korea. That's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.